Good morning, people in the south, and good day, my people in the west. Good afternoon, my lovely people in the east, and my friends in the north. Good evening. I thought today. I once alluded in one of my episodes that we need some kind of way to determine, or some kind of a way to enable us to know what the next big thing is. So we need to, actually, I was alluding that we need to know the next big thing. So today, I want to link what I want to talk about with that exactly, so that we start working on systems to enable us to understand and know how we can get the next big thing well refined and fully known and recognized as this is the exact next big thing, So today I want to talk about ideas of the future and ideas that would be impactful in our local economy to an extent of an export, or to an extent of possible exports. Those are the ideas that I want to talk about. These are ideas that will perhaps spark a way for us to know what could be the next big thing. These ideas are ideas that have been implemented, and these are ideas that will help us to find a way to identify the next big thing. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. So it is important for entrepreneurs because the world is moving at the very fast pace. So it is important for entrepreneurs to know what exactly. Think about it. If we had a mechanism to determine the next big thing, think about it. Then you position yourself quite well and wait for the next big thing. As the next big thing approaches, you snatch, run with it, and catch up with the world in terms of entrepreneurship. So these things gets me excited, because I like challenges like this, where you have to think about something that doesn't really exist, and you sort of animate it and bring it into existence in your head, and then you are able to put it on the table and articulate it so well that it even makes sense for the next person to understand what you're actually trying to say. So from top of my list, I'm just gonna pick here and there the ones that come through. From top of my list, I have a South African made car or vehicle. South African made vehicle called BRV. It's in the automobile industry, and it's been manufactured from Bloemfontein. Bloemfontein is one of the 9 provinces in South Africa. It's a hand-built, and it's a hand-built vehicle, and it's built for it's built and designed for tough terrains, tough conditions. The brand is called BRV. I don't know exactly what the acronym stands for, but this vehicle is built by the Brand family. Brand, it's BRANDT. Brand family. So I think brand is their same. So I suppose the B represents brand on the acronym BRV. Excuse me. This is one of the ideas that I want to pick from the list. So BRV, it's a vehicle that is built and designed for tough conditions. So it's more like those huge, strong, tough vans, or we call them buggies in South Africa, or trucks in other countries. But this one is the smaller version of that. So I want to look at how we can position ourselves as entrepreneurs in the country, and look at how big this brand could become. And these will be able to help us. I'm not saying we're going to come up with a system now, today, to identify the next big thing. These will be able to help us identify the pointers towards identifying the next big thing. Think about it. If BRV booms in terms of business, who do you think is gonna benefit more in terms of distribution? Number one, it could be BB Auto Group. It could be the what other automobile group that we have? The group that sells the likes of the Japanese vehicles, that group, the likes of Kia, the likes of Hyundai, that group. What do you call that group? I forgot that group. But those would be the most benefiting groups in terms of distribution. And where does that put us as entrepreneurs in the country who could be interested in distributing the brand or the vehicles? Number one, you have to have the relevant licensing. You have to have a space where you be able to sell the units. You have to have this and all of that. So how do you position yourself for brands like this, which are emerging and upcoming or mushrooming, so that you can play a role in distribution, in sales, in service, in mechanical service, in after-sale consultations, and so on and so forth? How do you position yourself for brands like this? Here is a brand, BRV. It's not well known. Not many people have seen it on the roads, on the South African roads. Probably not yet exported. And here's an opportunity for us to position ourselves for the next big thing. And I'm saying to you, BRV, it's the next big thing. If the brand gets involvement from a fair involvement from our government, and we get a fair share of pricing, this could actually yield a very good opportunity for exports. At some point I was thinking, maybe one needs to start looking into the shipping, cargo shipping business, and join the likes of Maersk, the likes of MSC, maybe eventually end up buying a vessel and be able to export these things to other countries. Maybe look at the marketing part of this thing, and how can we position ourselves to go market this brand in other countries. You can actually market it in African countries. They like cars designed for tough conditions. If you look at African countries, most of the vehicles that they use are Toyota products, because they are the closest thing to the conditions that they like driving around. BRV, South African based. How do we position? We don't see this as the next big thing, but there's a high chance that this BRV brand could be the next big thing in the country. Think about how VW is the biggest brand now in terms of automobile. Think about how Kia is the biggest brand, BMW, Mac, you name them. BRV could also become one of the most disruptive brands in the automobile industry. Position yourself and be aware. Look for the right. I just thought of something now. I'll share it just now. Look for the right requirements for you to be able to play a role in that space. I guarantee you, one way or the other, you might score something in that same space, because the industry is huge. So there's so many parts of the entire industry where you can play a role specifically in a particular part of the entire industry than taking the entire thing and running with it. Like I said, you can look into exporting the units themselves, specifically PRV. You can look into marketing. You can look into this and this and this and that. So I just thought earlier that I've seen an advert about a franchise which is not dominating a lot in many parts of South Africa. I've seen an advert that for you to get this franchise, they are not actually going to sell the franchise to you. They just listed a list of compliance documentations that you need to have. They are not going to sell it to you. If you can come to them with that complete list of the documentation they require, and one of the requirements is not necessarily a documentation, but it's land. So if you come to them with land plus all of those documentations and licenses they've listed, it's a lot of things, they will give you that franchise for free. It's a great opportunity. You just need to position yourself. So I do not qualify because I don't have all of those documentations, but I've given myself a task to go look for land, to go identify specific land in a place where I think it would be very strategic for that brand to come and settle there as a franchise. I'm going to look at the new developments in terms of the growing towns where I stay. Where can this be fit for business in future? Position it in such a way that even if the town develops towards the north, south, east, or west, this could still be, this spot or this position, this could still be viable for the business. So all I need now is to identify the land. Once I've identified the land, then I need to visit the municipal offices, find out how can I acquire that piece of land, get the land. Once I've got the land, then I've started ticking the requirements that they need. Once I complete the list, then I go to them, then I give them everything that they require. I get the franchise for free. That's the positioning I'm talking about. So you first equip yourself with every other requirement that is required for you to get that particular thing. So go familiarize yourself with the brand PRV. Look at the things that a company needs to become a distributor, to become whatever that you want to become in the entire automobile industry, be it marketing, be it distribution, be it service providing in terms of what else do we do? What else do we do? Maybe delivering the vehicles, maybe branding the vehicles, maybe giving them services in terms of designing some exterior, whatever. There's too many that you can look out for. So go and position yourself with all of those requirements that you find from your research, and then position yourself so that when you approach them, you've got a whole lot of things that they require for you to play part in participating in that industry. That's how we're going to get closer to a way to identify the next big thing. The next thing from my list is an idea around, actually it's not an idea, it's an existing business around the textile industry. I chose this one specifically because it's something, it's not unique, so to speak. It's not anything unique. I could have chosen many others that are there in that industry. The industry is textile, so it's in textile industry. So I chose Tepo jeans. Tepo jeans. Tepo is, it's not Chepo, it's Tepo. Tshepo. Tepo jeans. Tepo jeans. It's a luxury designer jeans, similar to your denim, luxury designer denim, and it's almost the same type of jeans that you get currently in the market. The likes of your Levi's, the likes of your polos, the likes of your what's this other famous one? I'm not comparing them. I'm just giving examples so that you understand what I'm talking about. Your chinos, they're designing textile products around that, So it's not anything new. They're not special. The only special thing about them is that because I'm in South Africa, I'm in South Africa, the brand is South African based. The owner of the Tepo jeans denim is a local guy called Tepo Mohlala. So Tepo Mohlala came up with an idea to design her own denim jeans, luxury denim jeans, and he sells like any other. So it's not that big yet, if I should put it that way. It's not that huge. The brand is not that big. It's big, but not that big. Tepo jeans is big, but not that big. So there's going to be a moment where Tepo jeans surpasses all other brands in the space that he found playing in the space. There's going to be a moment and a time where he surpasses all of those and becomes one of the top brands in Africa, in the world. And Tepo jeans is going to be the next big thing in the textile space. Watch this space. You will see what I'm talking about. Tepo jeans. So the same thing, similar thing as the one that I just mentioned, BRV. Similar approach, same everything. There's gonna be a time where I'm not sure if Tepo jeans are already exporting their products. I'm not sure if Tepo jeans have got stores everywhere across the country. I'm not sure. Similar thing. Prepare yourself. You don't really this innovation thing. It's quite broad, and you need to think out of the box sometimes, and you don't really need to say maybe you are interested in that particular space. You have ideas around that particular space, but you don't have money to fund your ideas. You don't have, look into what is it that is required for you to own that franchise, if they have one. Look, similar thing as I mentioned earlier. Prepare yourself and position yourself such that you are able to say, should Tepo jeans be out for franchise, you'll be able to snatch one. You'll be, because Tepo jeans is going to be the next big thing. So I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs who are in the textile space. They are struggling a lot. They are struggling. They're struggling to get their ideas to the next level. They're struggling to get their brands out there. They're struggling to have their brands or to get partnership with bigger stores or large retail companies to promote their brands. But look into a newly emerged brand like Tepo jeans. You can collaborate with them. You can strike a deal with Tepo jeans. Sit down with them and show them what you can do and show them your innovations. And somehow you might strike a good deal that can actually promote. By the time Tepo jeans becomes bigger, your product or your brand would have been, on the same level with turbo genes. So let's get to a level where, as innovators, we are able to think out of the box and we are able to think about the next big thing, prepare ourselves towards the next big thing. I like how astronomers works. Mostly, if you follow a lot of astronomy work, astrophysicist works and stuff. Maybe you listen to cosmologists speak and talk about how the cosmos works. You'll be able to pick a specific element about all of the things that the entire industry of astronomy is basing their researches on. Mostly, they will always tell you about what's going to happen in the next 5 billion years. They're saying apparently in 5 billion years, the sun is going to swallow the earth. 5 billion years. How do they know? So they're able to calculate the margins at which the earth is moving towards the sun. Small margins. Then they calculate the margins with some time lapse. And then the system is able to show them that with this margin, if every minute, hour, day, week, month, year, this thing moves at these margins, it means after this long, this thing would have been here. And if it gets here, obviously the sun is going to swallow this thing. There's another project that they're running now from NASA. They just sent they sent 4 astronauts to the moon. Is it 4? Yeah, it's 4. Is it 3? 3, 4. 4 astronauts to the moon. They didn't go land on the moon specifically. They just made a turn at the moon. But go look at the illustration of how they targeted the moon, because their target is a moving target. So they calculate and look at where this thing is going against where they're coming from. So you can clearly see the moon coming towards where this thing is going. So if they launch on this day and this thing is going to go around the earth, orbit the earth, get the gravity of the earth to throw it out, and they know by this time, if it reaches the axis of the moon will be here. So if we launch on this day at this time at this speed, this thing is going to hit the target. So the target is to go around the moon and come back. So we need to know, where will the moon be at this time? Where is the next big thing? If we can get that right, that's what I'm trying to talk about. That's what I'm trying to build here, to say we need to come up with a way to identify the next big thing. Then your coordinates should be able to get you to the next big thing. That's what I'm trying to say here. So basically, we need that kind of approach to identify the next big thing. The next on the list is this. I've seen this twice already. It's the construction industry. The construction industry have got a new way of building houses. I also spoke about this last year sometime. They have got a new way of building beautiful modern houses. What they do is, I've seen this happening in China. They take, those big culverts, those big pipes that they use to build bridges. It's a big pipe, concrete pipe they use to build bridges. The huge ones, the ones that you can walk around without bending your head. You can actually walk through that pipe without bending your head. They use those pipes to construct small, beautiful, modern houses. So they're very space optimal. They're very green. They're very innovative. They're very economic. So what they do is they've designed a way to remember that thing. It's a pipe, so it has two openings on each side. So they've designed a way to close both sides with aluminum material, and then design some little nice windows and doors, and then inside they're able to level it up and create a home environment, So because they are space optimal, they can construct more than 20, 30, 40, 50 houses in one small space. They can stack them up. They can stack about 20 houses in one small space and occupy or accommodate more than 20 families, 30 families. If maybe it's a young family of 3, 4, then you are able to occupy such spaces. Very economic. You can actually build such and rent them out for people who are maybe in a specific place for a specific duration, and then you can make money through that. Though I found that very, very, very innovative, because there's a lot of boxes that you tick in there, environmentally, economically, and otherwise. There's socially, you're ticking a lot of boxes there, So go look out for a new way of constructing modern houses in China. You will see those videos. It's not AI, it's something that is there, exists. I've already seen it twice being built by 2 different companies. And eventually this is going to come to South Africa before they start exporting these houses to us. Because we do have those concrete pipes, we do have aluminum artisans and designers, so they can design this thing, interior designers and so on. They can design this thing for us. Think about that as the next big thing. And that's what innovation is about. Position yourself. Look at your target. Our economy is cringing now. A lot of things are becoming expensive. People are no longer going to afford living the standard life in a normal standard house. So you're going to move to those things, You can actually roll your house to wherever you want to go. You can just put it on the ground and push it, and then it will roll to wherever you want to relocate to. Get there and prepare it and then put it nicely somewhere. You can put it on top or bottom, anywhere, Then the next on the list is in the telecommunication space, telecommunication industry. I've seen that the founder of Twitter, this is some old news, but it's relevant though, because we haven't started using this technology. The founder of Twitter, which is Jack Dorsey, is it Dorsey or Dorsey? Jack Dorsey has come up with a way. Actually, he has built a new app like Twitter. It's a social media platform that is going to work without the internet. So you would not need to connect to the internet to use that platform. How nice. Apparently it's going to use Bluetooth. If maybe I don't know how that is going to work. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's not yet out in the market. Maybe they're still testing it. I don't know. But anything is possible. So we are going to start communicating without being connected to the internet. Don't you think that is going to render internet redundant? Don't you think that is going to render data that we buy to connect to the internet redundant? Like data rendered airtime that we use to call each other redundant? Data has now disrupted airtime. Now data is going to be disrupted by Jack Dorsey's idea. Don't you think that's the next big thing? How else can you position yourself for that space? That's what I want to see us struggling with, to think about ideas around how can we position ourselves for that next big thing? What else can we innovate to prepare for that next big thing? Because someone has already found the solution. Someone has already started building something. So what we can do now is prepare for the things that are going to be disrupted. To say, what is it that is going to, we know what is going to be disrupted. For example, I spoke about data. Data is going to be disrupted. What is it that is going to be affected and impacted when data gets disrupted for that particular thing? So there's going to be a new thing, like the phones that we're using now might be quite redundant as well for the new technology. So there might be a new wave of new designs of phones in terms of connection. So maybe the phones will be able to connect with a different Bluetooth or something. So position yourself. Go find out, what do you need to build or to acquire some franchises to sell cell phones, such that your target, remember the moon and the astronauts, your target is for that particular idea. Because think about it, that idea is going to disrupt a lot. The moment you start disrupting data, you are disrupting. The moment you start disrupting data sales, you are disrupting so many things. So the bank is going to have to introduce this new way, because data is not going to sell anymore. So they're going to discontinue data on their banking apps. They're going to introduce this new way so that they can also play a role in this thing. So position yourself. Position yourself in a way that you can build a solution that's going to make it easier for banks to also play a role in that space. Build a system that's going to make it easier for the banks to play a role in that space, because it's coming, this thing. Your target is coming. Once it gets here, the moment it gets here, you are able to say, guys, I've got the solution. We've already prepared, we've already built a solution for that problem. With this app, with this system, you can be able to charge your customers. We're no longer using data. We don't need internet. So the bank is going to lose. How much do you think the bank is making through data sales? A lot. And they're just middlemen, because they're buying this from the network, cell phone network service providers. You get what I'm trying to say? You see what I'm trying to go? That's basically that. So in a nutshell, use the 4 things that I've mentioned. Use them as an inspiration for you to think out of the box. Crack your head. Think about something out of the box to prepare for the next big thing. These 4 things should be an inspiration for that. Let them inspire you to come up with ways to position yourself, because these things, Taco Blue, they are coming. The next big thing is going to come out of these things that I've mentioned. Next big thing. So your approach to get yourself inspired to think out of the box, for you to position yourself for this next big thing, will say a lot about where your business and your company is going to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30 years. Because things are going to completely change. And things are going to change quite faster. So we need to learn these ways and methods to identify things that are coming in advance and prepare ourselves before they come. By the time they hit the target, you are done. You're already moving to the next one. Or you've already developed the next solution. So before I go, check out, there's a new support programs, but this program is looking for ideas. If you have an idea and you want your idea to move from wherever stage it is to the next stage, this is for you. Go online and check a support program called Climate Launchpad South Africa. Climate Launchpad South Africa, and apply. They are taking the next cohort, I think, in the next couple of months, and it's a global competition, but they run it per country, and then they take winners from each country to go participate as a global winners global winners from different countries, and then you might be a global winner of all the winners from each country, and your idea will be implemented. So I know Climate Launchpad, I've once participated in it. It's a very good program. I've been part of it. I also want to go back again and participate. You learn a lot of things from these programs, especially Climate Launchpad, because I've got an idea that I'm working on, which is a clean tech. So go and search for Climate Launchpad South Africa. If you have a clean tech idea, clean tech, it's ideas that involves circular economies, green energy, waste management. What's this one? What's this other one? You know what I'm talking about. So that's what they're looking for. So don't forget to subscribe. There will be a pop-up here. Click on the pop-up to subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you next week.